This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Ah, smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
Hello, and welcome to Yeah, We Read It. I'm one of your hosts, Meggie.
And I'm your other host, Laura.
And today we be... Oh my god.
You're doing so great! It's the end of season 1!
Today we will be talking about the final book in the Clique series, A Tale of Two Pretties.
We read this entire series. Like, it doesn't feel real.
As you can tell, it has turned my brain to mush.
And also, you can tell this is like the earliest we've ever recorded an episode. It's 9 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, I woke up at 7:30 a.m. and was like, Laura, I went to bed at 9:30 on a Friday. Let's get going. Laura was like...
I was like, I've been up since 6 a.m. Let's go.
So, we are excited to do this and then wrap up our entire thoughts on the series. Guys, we did it.
Yeah, we did it. We're actually going to be doing like a little special episode that's going to come out next week. Instead of doing a 2-week break, you're going to get 3 weeks of episodes. You're going to get this, our little wrap-up episode, and then you're going to get our season 2 episode.
So, holy crap.
Oh, okay, A Tale of Two Pretties. Also, I just realized how misleading the title is because it's making it sound like there's only 2 pretty people in this book.
Well, Massey's send-off to Dylan kind of makes it sound like she's not pretty.
Goodness. So, I think we just need to kind of overview this book first. Out of all of the ridiculous things that have happened in the Clique series, this book was a snooze.
Oh my god,
this book was such a snooze. Like, we've went to movie sets, we've went on camping trips, we've, done fashion shows, and we've done photo shoots, and this book just kind of feels like such a letdown from all of these, like, whimsical, high-caliber events that we've been visiting this entire time.
I think what would have been the best conclusion to the book series is if they just killed off Dylan. That's what they wanted.
She falls down an elevator shaft.
That's what they wanted to do anyways, you can tell. So, the last book prior to this, basically we just leave off Massey's broke.
Massey's broke at the end of the last book. Yep. And very much in the beginning of this book, Clara and Massey have become friends again. Did that happen at the end of the last book? I don't remember. Yes?
Gosh, yes.
Okay, they reconciled.
Massey was spying on her in the window.
Yes, oh my gosh, it was like a half a paragraph thing of just like them being like, truce? Yeah. And now we're here.
Yep. Now
and
we're
Massey
here.
is poor. It's Christmas time. Mm-hmm. There's like no heat in their mansion, and Massey is not happy about it.
No, as she famously expresses, she is, quote, having Chinese takeout on Xmas Eve like they're Jewish friends.
Ugh. But then a few pages later, I think this is my favorite, one of my favorite, most delusional Massey moments is, she thinks this entire thing is just a lesson.
Oh, yes.
She's just like, oh my god, I figured it out. My parents are tricking me. They're just trying to show me the value of $1. And she like walks down on Christmas Eve being like, okay guys, you can stop the joke. I figured it out. Ha ha ha. We're not actually poor. And they're like, just like blankly staring at her like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And then she gets a black diamond necklace that any person would appreciate. Yeah. But Massey's like, where's the matching set?
Yeah, where's my earrings and bracelet that match it? God, what a brat.
And to spend Christmas, she just recounts her favorite gifts over the year. My favorite being the walk-on role she had in Hannah Montana.
I mean, it's a great gift. How would you not be so happy with that?
That was a pretty good...
It's a cool role.
There are a lot of nods to Hollywood throughout this, especially at Mrs. Marvel's last New Year's Eve party. And I was like, this is so fun. Lacey is really flexing her MTV history writing for it because she just throws every celeb.
I mean, well, I will say, I guess the thing that this book did that no other book did is like we really check in on like all of the pretty committee.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wish we were doing that like the entire series.
Exactly. It seems like she really figured out how to flesh out characters in the 14th book of her series.
And it's like, all right, goodbye, it's over. Hope you had fun.
Speaking of conclusions, we finally reached. Cam and Claire are finally officially boyfriend and girlfriend after
It took a whole year. Sorry, it took a whole year.
It took a whole year and, 7,000 pages for us. Love it.
Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, and, they do their little Christmas exchange, and this is weirdly our, starting inciting incident where, Cam wrote her a song.
Called Gummy Claire.
What a ring to it, right?
So cute.
And then he also gets her, photography classes for them to take on Friday nights, and she's like, how am I going to be able to go to these sleepovers? And it's like, you can go after the class.
You got 8 weeks, just 2 months, just 2 months.
And also, it's the class at the latest will end at 10. You can go to a sleepover.
Exactly.
After. So
She's
strange.
Nervous Massey will be mad since Massey is poor now, and Massey has no identity.
Yeah. And the big theme of this book is kind of everybody's getting a new beginning. So we're kind of, in the first few pages, we're introducing everybody's new beginning. So it's, Massey's poor, and then Kristen gets invited to the Soccer Sisters, which is a national touring team.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone, or maybe it was just in my mind in the book at some place, was like, oh, Kristen, is that the Make-A-Wish of Soccer's?
Yeah, I think that was Massey.
Yeah, she says it's underprivileged soccer thing.
God, Massey sucks. And also when Kristen's debating, should I be in the Soccer Sisters? She's like, oh, but then I won't get to hang out with Dempsey anymore. And I was like, bitch, didn't you drop Dempsey?
Yeah, that was...
Gosh, I think this part of the book still exists in Massey's coma, and I think that this book also solidifies my fan theory I introduced in book 12.
Dempsey are those Thanksgiving leftovers I shoved to the back of the fridge, and then by January I was like, oh, I'm too lazy to clean the Tupperware, so I just threw them away.
And now you get new Tupperware. It's a new beginning for you too.
Exactly. Which reminds me of mac and cheese in there I need to clean out.
Oops. Okay, so we have, Kristen's getting the Soccer Sisters.
Dylan's getting a reality TV show.
Which I wrote this down in my notes. That, I think, is the most exciting plot we've seen in a while. Because it's, dramatic, and it's, mean and gritty, but, Dylan's fighting it back. And it's, it was, the most, I think, thought out and the most interesting plot line I've read in one of these books. Yeah. And I wanted more of it.
When they introduced Alicia, though, her plot line as... She goes to a
Christmas lunch with her dad's lawyer friends, and she buys a psychic online.
And her whole thing is the psychic is like, you will come to power soon. And she's like, I just want to be a beta.
She's like, no, I've already tried that twice and it failed. I just want to be a beta. And I'm like, okay, so we have this. Claire's getting a new house. That's her big thing. Yeah. Kristen's going on a national touring soccer team. Dylan gets a whole reality show on the E! Network, which isn't explicitly stated but is implied, and Alicia buys a psychic.
When Alicia's came before Dylan's, I was like, what's Dylan's whole thing going to be? A hot dog eating contest she's training for?
Honestly, I would read that.
At the back of the book, when they said her future career was going to be a food critic and a plus-size model, I was like... Justice for Dylan, quite honestly.
Truly, yeah. We give her the short end of the stick constantly.
That's why I was expecting a funeral and a tale of two pretties.
Everyone dies except it's a tale of two pretties. There can only be two. And so, they kill off 3 of them.
They're like, oh, Dylan got stuck in the elevator shaft.
I will say... So I did want to point out that there's, Massey's kind of in her delusional state of, texting Claire, on Christmas, where are you? And Claire's like, oh, I'll be back soon. Massey's like, cool, text me and I'll be there in 60 seconds. And I was like, that is me and you. Constantly. Because being like, text me and I'll be at yours at 5 seconds. Let me know. Because we live down the hall from each other.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And Massey just showing up and being like, I'm staying here was me during my breakup.
And also me during when I had to stop, when I couldn't stay at my roommate's place anymore because they were scary. That was me being like, I need to stay with you for a bit.
And the cat was peeing everywhere. Wow. When you think about it, we are the healthy Massey and Claire.
So much.
Just like them.
Oh, wow. So...
I do love they also introduced that Dylan has 2 sisters. Where the hell was that?
I think those were introduced in the summer series that we didn't read, but I read the summary of. But, we don't touch on Dylan enough for that to matter until now.
Yeah. Jamie and Ryan.
Yes. And yeah, again, going back to Dylan really getting the short end of the stick, she's in the makeup chair, and this is on page 46, and she's stressed because what a big huge thing to adjust to, especially at 13, and she tries calling all of her friends, and she, like, legally can't say, like, she's shooting the show, but she's trying to, like, kind of, like, pose it as a hypothetical to be like, what should I do? And everybody literally hangs up on her being like, sorry, I can't talk right now. And I was like, y'all really don't give a shit about Dylan.
Exactly. They
Insane.
don't care at all.
They don't care at all, which is so fucked up.
And she was just skirting around the news, but she also had to, like, keep it a secret. So I'd be like, Dylan, come on, just either tell me or I'm hanging up. So I kind of get it.
Yeah, and, you know, Claire's still being supportive of Massey during this trying time when she's poor. And Massey, you know, in her manipulative state, makes Claire name 10 nice things she's done.
Wait, what page is that?
That's on page 53. Yeah, empowered Claire sat taller. It's just that you've been there for them so many times. Name 10, Massey said, not including the one you just said. And Claire goes, okay, 10. And keep in mind, I've only been here a year. And Massey goes, 10.
Is this when Massey comes over to Claire's and she's confused about them selling the house?
Yeah.
Because
and then,
she thought she was moving into the guest house with Claire?
Claire's first thing it says, 1, you helped Alicia buy her first minimizing bra.
Oh?
2, you supply Kristen with new outfits every morning before school. 3, you designed their Dirty Devils Halloween costumes. 4, you had Jacob fix my bangs after Lang butchered them, and I was trying to be old Claire for Cam.
Mm-hmm.
4, you helped Dylan. Oh, they list 4 twice, I just realized. 4, you helped Dylan when Mr. Minor was dating her mom.
Wait, this is also the page when Massey's like, well, Massey still hasn't come out to the PC that she is poor, and she's trying to get advice from Claire. And Claire goes, well, did you laugh when you found out Kristen was poor? And then Massey goes, interesting point. Run with it. I laughed so hard.
Yeah, and we also, in this scene, we finally call out the use of the word vanish to reference Alicia, which is, like, finally some accountability.
Oh, yes.
And I think it would, like, it poses the question, like, I think it would be so interesting to talk to Lacey, like, in 2021 about these books, because I feel like she would look back and be like, there's a lot of those books that are so problematic.
Wait, she actually says that in the intro.
Yeah, she kind of, like, touches on that in the intro, and I think we should read out the intro when we do our little wrap-up episode.
Because it is, that's kind of like her a little bit holding herself accountable, but not actually apologizing.
So yeah, we'll touch into that next week.
I do love on the same page, because this is where all the greatest quotes come from, when Massey goes, I'm an amazing friend, and don't poor people always say that's the most important thing? They know that better than anyone. They probably huddle around an open stove and analyze this for fun.
God, what an entitled, what entitlement. So Massey finally comes out to the Pretty Committee in Massey's nervous, awkward confession way, where she, you know, gives them the entire, just like, yeah, this was happening, I'm poor.
And they're so supportive.
And then she curtsies at the end. They're supportive, but then they hatch this plan that they are going to sell all of their old clothes to buy Massey one New Year's Eve dress.
Just hundreds of dollars worth of clothes for New Year's Eve.
For one dress that she will wear for just a few hours.
So Alicia is in charge of all of this, but she's also remembering what Hermia, the psychic, told her, and is like blacking out and having trauma because she's like,
I can't lead.
I can't be Alpha. Remember all these failed things?
Oh my gosh, it's insane. Yeah, and then Kristen and Claire take Massey to Marshall's.
And this is when I started blacking out, because they call this a middle-class makeover, which I always thought Marshall's was bougie.
You can get expensive things at Marshall's. Like, it's not cheap.
Yeah, when they were explaining, too, the clothes that were in Kristen and Claire's closet, I don't remember what they were, but like Zappos, I still think Zappos is expensive.
Yeah.
I never shopped there. Like, I had rich fucking friends showing up in designer to school, and I never thought that Target or like Merona was poor.
No, me either. Well, and I think we kind of talked about this when we were both like texting as we were reading this book, and we were talking about how, like, wait a minute, like, I had friends who like wore like expensive clothes in high school. Like, I especially remember, like, in my high school, like, the thing was like you were in like head to toe Hollister, Abercrombie, and like my family didn't have that money, so I remember it's like I would buy like things from Hollister on like clearance. So it would be like $9-10 for a shirt, and nobody knew.
I found a Hollister polo in the Lost and Found at Regis Middle School, and I was so excited. Meanwhile, like Mary Levette was showing up in Burberry. I knew what Burberry was at like 13.
Jesus. Yeah, no, a lot of girls in my schools had like Louis Vuitton, like the tiny little bags and Coach bags.
Oh yeah, and was Dooney and Burke even?
Oh my God, it was. I forgot about Dooney and Burke, but people didn't like that as much because Dooney and Burke was more like zany and out there, I think, and people in the Midwest don't like that shit. Like, I really like Dooney and Burke, but
I think I saw someone have it, and then I was like, oh my God, that's what the rich people have.
I know, and I had like my purse from JCPenney's that had giraffe print on it, and like it looked really nice. But...
yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Got memories.
So the girls have this fun little sell our stuff pop-up store, and I thought this was really cute, cutouts in each section for each one of them.
Yeah, and the only thing that issue I had with this fundraiser is like they set it up like, oh, this is a big deal, and then like 7 pages later we're at the fundraiser and this thing just moves so fast. Like, it's suddenly like it's been happening and Kristen is late, and then they're getting ready for the fashion show, and then like they skip a paragraph being like, okay, and then the fashion show is over, it went great, and I was like, so we don't even see this fashion show.
Yeah,
it just felt like it felt so hyper and just like what
there's a catwalk runway, but apparently girls by large in masses from different counties show up. There's a ton of people there, and they raise about $2,000 in money.
Yeah,
monies.
And then also we cut back to Dylan's reality show, and they have planted diet pills on her to create more drama.
Diarrhea pills.
Oh yeah, and which is like, again, messed up to do to a 13-year-old. But also still makes this the most interesting and captivating plot we've seen so far, because it's like so high stakes.
Yeah, and they will show the episode later on, and also Dylan breaks out of her room and rolls her ankle, but they really pin Dylan. And they say this too, I don't think Laura and I have watched the Kardashians, but they compare her to being like the Khloe Kardashian of the sister, which apparently is an insult.
Yeah, that's so mean. Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Why is everyone so mean to Dylan, who is 13?
Exactly. I did an in-depth presentation for you, PowerPoint, that I think Khloe actually has the most merit, apparently, of the girls.
Yeah. And
by my point system.
It was like an 100-slide show rating, which was the most meritable Kardashian.
Exactly.
I appreciated it. I liked it.
So Massey flounces on back to the mansion and is like, wow, now I'm going to be the breadwinner of the family.
Yeah, now that I've made $2,000 by selling all of the things I own, I can do this forever.
I like that I was writing this note in real time because it says she will now be the breadwinner of the family, but oh, wait, why? What the fuck? Her dad got a new job and now they're moving into a castle in England?
Instantly, like, we're 100 pages in. You know, we only had about 50 pages of the last book where she was poor, and now we only have 100 pages of this book where she's poor, and we're just throwing that plot line out the window. And it is confirmed in this book that her dad has lost his job, but this does confuse me because Jay and Massey's dad work together, so I was like, but Jay still has his job, and like, Massey's dad got Jay Lyons the job at the firm.
I don't know.
It was probably overlooked. Maybe overlooked, but yeah, so their dad has a new job.
But this is especially bad PR for Massey because she had just made Poor Cool. And Rich was already back.
Don't you hate it when you make Poor Cool and then you suddenly have money again?
I hate that. But yeah, it's going to be hard. She's moving to England. She has to tell the PC.
Yeah, and then he's like, and we're going to live in a castle. And I'm like, what?
He does not clarify. And she asked for clarification. And he's like, no, we're straight up living in a castle. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I don't think there's residential castles in England, but like, I could be wrong. I've never been.
So Massey is upset about being rich, sort of, but also shows up to Cam's band practice in a limo and is like, get in, Claire! Hey, I'm rich again. So, is she very upset about it? I'm not really sure.
You know, we never know. And then, this is, again, one of my least favorite parts of the book. We have, like, basically, like, 4 scenes of her telling people that she's moving.
Oh my god.
Like, this book just does kind of force. So then it's like, we have, you know, the 4 Christmases, and then we have the 4 scenes of Massey telling everybody that she's moving, and then we fast forward to, like, 4 scenes of her trying to see if she can live with everybody instead of moving to England.
Exactly.
And it's just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, it's because how could she possibly leave the Pretty Committee? On 112, she says their relationship was symbiotic. She was their hero. They gave her life meaning. They were the planets. She was their sun.
Yeah.
They revolved around her.
Massey is so modest when you think about it.
Without her, they'd be as dark as Seattle.
Is Seattle dark?
I mean, I guess there's a lot of serial killers there, but does she mean rainy?
There's more serial killers in Alaska.
Really?
Well, there's more unsolved murders in Alaska because their police force is smaller.
Okay, so write that down, audience. I guess take note. I don't know.
I had a coworker who worked in Alaska for a little bit back when I was working at a restaurant here. And she lived in Alaska for a little bit, and she was like, honestly, like, the crime rate there is just so high because it's just, like, there's more space out in between, there's less people.
Oh my God.
There's just, like, she's like, yeah, like, there's a lot of, like, serial killers and, like, murders out there that just, like, people don't, like, know about or do anything about.
That is insane.
Insane, yeah.
So Massey, in her Goldilocks journey, tries Dylan's house first and finds a ton of camera people there.
Yeah.
Who's filming her telling Dylan that she's moving to England, and Dylan's crying, and they want another take, and Massey's like, no, I'm leaving.
Yeah, and they're like, wait, sign this waiver, and she's like, I'm a minor, no.
Yeah, that was a pretty boss move.
That was a pretty boss move, I agree. Yeah, and then she goes to Alicia's, and Alicia's practicing tap dancing, so Massey's like, this is too loud, I'm not living here.
She's like, it's huge and lonely, and it sounds like thunder, yeah. I'm leaving.
Nope, it's, too loud, and Alicia was really nice, like, do you want, like, we can train you can come dance with us, and Massey's like, no.
No, so she tries Kristen's, which is promising at first.
Honestly, yeah, like, I feel like, Kristen's, like, really excited to have Massey there, and Kristen's like, this hot cocoa. And she's like, this is gonna be so fun, like, it'll be like sleepovers every night.
Bean and Beckham don't like each other, but that's okay, they can work it out.
And then Kristen has to wake up at 4 a.m. and the Massey's like, no.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's it.
You could try to fall back asleep, but also your dog and Beckham wants to get fed. That's what it is. And she's like, nope, that's it. So she catches Claire right as they're moving everything into the truck and is like, nothing worked out. Can I move in with you? And Claire's like, I guess you can stay in the den. I don't know. Yeah. I haven't asked my parents.
Claire's like, my room is really small, but we can figure something out, I guess.
I just don't understand how Massey is transporting all of her clothes to these different places.
I just picture her now just, like, wheeling 4 suitcases behind her as she's walking. Because, like, she doesn't have a driver anymore.
No. So, Massey is now deciding the feng shui of Claire's room, and it sounds like a small bedroom.
It sounds like a small bedroom, and Massey pitches the lovely idea of putting a poster over the window because it doesn't get enough daylight.
That was so funny. It's gonna get less daylight if you put up a photo of the beach.
And like the poster, like the window also looked into like the neighbor across the street's room. So he was like, "This is bad. We don't want this." And
Todd pops in, has a hysterical Todd moment.
The last moment we see Todd in this entire series,
and he makes a great impression.
And all he does is tell Massey, like, "Hey, now that we're gonna be living together, baby, I just want you to know I'm going to take my time in the morning, but if you really got to go, just not going to let you in." And I'm like, that's so creepy.
The thing is, I'm a man, is how he starts it off. That was incredibly funny. Oh my God.
But now it's time to get ready for New Year's.
Yep. It's the last party we're ever going to see Mrs. Marvel's
New Year's Eves? It's
Yves?
Yeah, Y-V-E-S.
I think it's a designer,
I think it's Ives.
Okay,
Ives.
That sounds right.
Because I'm picturing of like the St. Ives like skincare brand that's really bad for your skin and nobody should buy if you're listening to this. Like the peach scrub smells great, bad for your skin.
Exactly.
So there's a huge party.
Huge party. They're throwing the prep party beforehand. Massey's redecorated the office to put on hot makeup.
Yeah, and we don't really know what Massey has done with the money yet.
She spent all the money from the fundraiser to buy them clothes.
Oh, yeah, she bought all of them outfits. I forgot.
Because she's like, I want you guys to dress like yourselves, so I bought all of these clothes for you, basically picking out how you're going to dress for yourselves.
I bought clothes for you based on how I see you, and you'll wear them.
And they're like, yay, I love it. This is so great. Kristen has winged eyeliner, which I've never pegged her as a winged eyeliner person.
Well, she was also wearing like a blazer and shorts or something.
Dylan has a red floor-length dress, which is lazy. Come on.
A red hair with a red floor-length dress. Isn't the best look. If it's
Get her green.
Get her green or a burgundy.
Okay, I
but like an emerald green would be the best choice.
Exactly. That's
maybe
literally you're not putting any effort in. I'm surprised that Alicia doesn't have like a Ralph Lauren floor-length cape.
Yeah,
just like one of those Matrix coats. Yeah. She's like, here you go. I bought you hacker glasses in a floor-length leather.
She's like, I couldn't find anything Ralph Lauren, so I got you this Ralph Lauren home blanket you can drape around you.
My little beta superhero.
You did it.
But Dylan's mom's New Year's Eve party has everyone. We're talking the True Blood cast. That was a throwback for me. I was not ready for
I forgot that they were there.
We're talking Hilary Duff, Taylor Lautner,
Ashley Simpson, I think, is there.
Ellen DeGeneres?
I think so, yeah.
I remember Ellen DeGeneres because Massey is trying to watch the premiere of the reality show's first episode, and Ellen DeGeneres is right in front of her, and she's like, move!
Kind of crazy that all of these celebrities would go to Westchester, New York for a New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, I don't know how close that is to the city, but I guess go off.
Yeah, have fun, I guess. Then we have the big announcement for the reality TV show.
It is revealed, and
it's a hit.
Everyone is telling their secrets, and at first, Dylan's looking really hot in it. She's like, I have better legs than Kristen.
Yeah.
I have better hair than Alicia. What is going on? And then there's just a montage of Dylan, like, burping, eating shit.
Falling out of her window,
literally, figuratively. Having an eating disorder with the diarrhea pills that they're trying to plant. And this is what I was shocked about, is that they are filming her having a really heartwarming moment with her mom about Massey leaving.
Yeah. Or
no, not Massey leaving, Massey being poor.
Yeah.
And Massey is weirdly okay with it after.
Yeah.
She's like, it's okay, Dylan, you looked really good there.
I think also because Massey loves the press, so it's like, people are talking about me.
In that moment, I was so confused, because I was like, she just developed empathy.
I know, I think I was like, oh no, this is gonna go so poorly, and then Massey's like, good job, bud.
Exactly. And in a
strange
heartwarming moment of everyone coming clean.
And Kristen's like, I'm in the Soccer Sisters. Claire goes, I have photography classes with Cam every Friday nights. Massey's like, I'm moving still. And Alicia's like, I bought a psychic.
I like that she prefaces that by being like, I haven't been reading as much as I want to.
Yeah.
Or something.
So weird.
Like that. And it's like, okay.
I know we hate we hate Dylan as an audience in this book, or we're supposed to, but Alicia also really gets the short end of a plot line.
Yeah, Alicia, for as well developed as she is out of all 5 of the girls, I would say she's my least favorite.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, as I was taking my notes on this, I was just thinking, why didn't we give her, like, a residency to be a reporter or something, or, like, an internship?
Yeah.
Like, we had so many ways we could have went with Alicia, but instead we gave her, she bought a psychic that texted her fortunes?
Yeah, I don't know. But
disappointing.
This whole moment gives Massey the power and the clarity to be like, you know what, I'm finally going to tell my parents that I am staying. I am moving in with Claire.
And she's like, I can't leave Westchester. Like, my home is here. She marches up to her parents, and she goes, I'm going to live with Claire. Her parents are okay with it. And Massey's parents go, absolutely not. No. What? We're all moving to England. We're not going to let you just live here without us. We're your parents.
Exactly. And she starts it by being like, maybe a few months, a year. You know, I'll be there in 4. I'll be in England in 4 years. And they're like, no.
Yeah, like, no.
Which I'm kind of shocked. How did the parents not tell them?
I don't know. So strange. But then the solution to, Massey being like, I actually do have to move, and she's crying, and Hermia, the psychic, is at the New Year's Eve party doing readings, so as a group, they all decide to get a group reading.
Exactly. Alicia rises up as a beta.
We have spent 14 books, and we're boiling it down to, in our last 30 pages, that they're just going to a reading.
Exactly, and the reading isn't even that good. No. She just turns to Massey and goes, the powerful Massey. And basically all this bitch says is you have the power to handle your changes.
Yeah.
That's dumb. That's not helpful at all.
Like, this reading was so not what we needed right now, but it does make Massey vulnerable. This is the first time we've seen her be vulnerable.
Besides that one time she was crying to the girl she thought Landon was seeing.
Yeah, that was the other time. But yeah, this was her holding herself accountable for being vulnerable.
Exactly. And
and Massey uses his opportunity to say goodbye to everybody. And Dylan's is by far the worst.
For sure.
I simply must read.
Yeah, you need to.
She goes on page 176. You, Dilly, honestly, you make me laugh more than I ever thought possible. But more important, you remind me with every disgusting thing you do that true beauty lies in our imperfections. And I was like, that is a backhanded compliment.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
And she's so nice to, like, Claire and Alicia and Kristen. And then she's like, Dylan, you're disgusting. Thanks.
Because it taught me that you can be hideous by being yourself.
I only recognize you as beautiful now that you have a reality show, so, like, keep up being gross.
It benefits me. It is very strange. I do like that she finally admits she doesn't deserve Claire.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you don't.
My least favorite thing is, like, Kristen going, you know, Massey, you have always made the best of bad situations, and I literally when has Massey made the best of a bad situation?
No, she spirals.
Massey has spiraled so much.
She loses her shit.
Massey, every time she doesn't get her way, she panics.
I do have to say, I will have little gems of Claire and Cam moments where I love Cam, and this was genuinely one where I was like, I fuck with Cam. When Claire tells Cam that Massey isn't staying, and he said, that's okay, I'm great at insults, which is so funny. He really doesn't hold back, but also not the time.
Yeah, not the time. Really unhelpful.
And then Claire is like, I don't get why he doesn't like Massey. Massey wasn't always trying to insult her. It wasn't a game. It was her way of trying to care.
No.
Claire. We don't need to look back on it through rose-colored glasses. It's okay.
So Massey's parents, have thought about it in the 5 minutes that they've been having their reading. And they decide, Massey, you should stay. Like, it would be rude for us to take you from your friends.
And Massey's like, no.
Now that I've had this reading for 5 minutes, I'm ready to move to England.
Which is good, because honestly, she's not going to have anything there while they're doing other things. And if this series was to continue on, I could not wait for these girls to stop talking to each other. Because what do they have in common without Massey bossing them around?
Right? They, literally nothing. And, yeah, so I'm really glad Massey decides to leave anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have their little goodbye.
Yeah, they have a little goodbye, and then 2 weeks later, Massey's on a plane going to England.
Yes. And she's taking off. They had people make friendship bracelets for her.
Yeah.
She had 85 total. It reminds me of the scene in Mean Girls when Regina George is, like, on her deathbed.
Yeah.
And they're like, the more people fear you, they show up more. And she's surrounded in all those flowers.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I felt about Massey. And she meets James on the plane, which the fortune teller was like, here's your new adventure.
Yeah, the fortune teller was like, forget about Landon. There's a new guy named James you're gonna meet. And we don't even get, like, a goodbye with Landon. It just says, Massey had said goodbye to Landon earlier that day. There were some tears, but everything was really understandable.
Mm-hmm. And one of the last paragraphs that we see captures a beautiful moment between Claire and Massey. Claire meets Massey's eyes over the chaos and winked at her. Massey winked back, her eyes sparkling, and mouthed, "Heart you, Claire." "Heart you, Mass," Claire wanted to say, but a swell of emotions left her mute. Which is a really great setup for, if you have not listened to it yet, Laura has a mini episode of fan fiction.
Yes, I wrote an entire fan fiction of what would the Clique girls be like at 26, and it's basically about how Claire is getting married, and Massey is trying to cope with her feelings of love that she's realized she had towards Claire. Because if that scene did anything, it just proves that Massey's in love with Claire.
Yes, and you texted me that before I read the book, and now I'm like, that was the perfect setup.
Right?
So if you guys haven't, you should definitely listen to that.
If you guys want to know where I think the Clique girls will be at 26, I wrote a fan fiction. Go listen to it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time.
Oh my God.
Wow, I can't believe we're done.
It's bittersweet.
It's bittersweet because, like, I'm excited for us to move on.
Yes.
But I also, like, it doesn't feel real because, again, I think we agree that, like, this wasn't the impactful ending I think we wanted.
No. Huge letdown.
But let's do our top 5, and we want to get sentimental and do our top 5 favorite moments from the Clique series.
Yeah.
It was hard to pick. We've had some favorite moments.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might have wrote down 6.
Oh, oops, well, we can do 6.
Two of them are in Breakfast at Tiffany's, so I will count that as one.
Oh, yeah, let's do both of those.
Okay. Things we actually liked about the Clique series, surprisingly. Two of them were actually Breakfast at Tiffany's might have been my favorite book.
I think me too. It was very problematic, if we remember, but
yes, everyone was.
But like, yeah, I think that had like the most. I had the most fun reading that one.
Yes, because it had the baby robots, but we both weirdly liked when they made the trailers into Tiffany boxes.
Yeah.
And there's a really endearing moment, which made me really upset that Alicia let go of Josh for no reason, because Massey told her to.
God.
Where they meet before afternoon announcements, and she's really nervous to stay in OCD because she's like, Massey will be mad at me, and Josh is just like, you need to live your life for you. It's very sweet.
Yeah, and then another moment is from book 5. It's The Pretty Committee Strikes Back, which is the camping trip.
Yeah.
And it's when Massey and Claire meet in the igloo so Claire can give Massey some kiss tips so that Massey can use those tips as a class to be an expert kisser. The letdown of the scene was that we really wanted Massey and Claire to kiss.
We really
did. But
did.
instead they got to make out with a moose head, a taxidermied moose head, which I think was fun.
It was kind of nostalgic, because I went to Camp Wapsie and we had a kiss the moose sort of a thing, too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's actually a pretty common thing. I've seen bars have... Maybe I've just been around, because we had Blue Moose, too, in Iowa City.
The only time I can think of, like, a kiss moose thing is in The Cabin in the Woods, when she's dared to make out with the creepy moose head.
I think it was a wolf.
Oh, it's a wolf head, you're right.
Weird. Okay, I guess that I've just been normalized to kissing mooses. Weird. Okay. Another thing that we actually liked about the Clique series, we gotta point out the fight at whatever mock Teen Vogue at the end of Revenge of the Wannabes was going on. Alicia has her clique because she tries time and again to fight Massey for control of people. And they all fight each other at this photo shoot.
At this Christmas-themed photo shoot, and it's hilarious. It's like 6 pages, and it's so fucking funny.
It seemed like it went on forever.
Yeah, I was glad. I had a great time reading it.
Yeah.
And then the next moment is going to be from book 6, Dial L for Loser. And this is when Claire got the movie role. And I think that was good because it kind of capitalized on like the kind of dreams you have when you're like 11 and 12 and you could, somebody could just discover you and you could just be a movie star all of a sudden. And I think that was a really fun break away from Clique World. It was, because that one really exists outside of like Westchester, and I think that's what made it such a standout. I know.
I was sad when she didn't take the second movie role. She got later.
Book 7, Claire, she really just,
Yeah, I enjoyed I think that the biggest cliffhanger for Claire was easily Invasion of the Boy Snatchers, the end of it, when she opens her eyes and she didn't kiss Cam, and she kissed Josh.
Oh, yeah, that was a good moment, too.
That was, oh my gosh.
Wow. God, Invasion of the Boy Snatchers was also a wreck of a book. God, okay, we're going to have to talk more about these books and this whole experience as a whole, doing our first season in next week's episode.
Yes.
Our special episode, our special wrap-up.
And we will likely, I think it would be really good to roll into that by reading the preface of Lacey's apology.
Yeah, agrees.
Basically.
We're gonna read Lacey's goodbye, we're gonna talk about our goodbyes, and then we're gonna announce our second season.
I'm so excited!
And exactly, and so that'll be coming out in 2 weeks from this episode. No breaks.
No breaks.
No breaks.
No breaks. No pain, no gain.
We really appreciate you guys sticking with us. Whether you're just joining us, whether you've been following us on this journey, we hope that you take out your phones right now, whether you're on iTunes or Spotify. Follow us on Spotify. If you're on iTunes, give us 5 stars.
Yeah, please.
Give us a little review. Give us a little hey, thanks Meggie and Laura, love this. We would love that. We would love you for it. And follow us on Instagram at Meggie and Laura. That's where we post most of our stuff. You can follow us on Facebook too, but boy, we have not been posting on Facebook at all.
The interface is so confusing.
They changed the interface and we don't like it. But yeah, Instagram, follow us on TikTok. Yeah, Instagram and TikTok are big too, so follow us there.
Yeah.
And we're oh my god, we're done with season 1. We did it.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Well,
this has been the Clique series.
Gosh. Oh, and also a fun announcement. We've been a part of the Social Podcast Network for quite some time now. And if you didn't know, the Social Podcast Network is doing a little makeover. Instead of the Social Podcast Network, it is now Audio Mint, which sounds sexy, hot, cool. We love it.
Yeah.
So if you're already following the Social Podcast Network, go ahead. But it's going to be changing to the Audio Mint, so don't be surprised.
Yeah.
And if you haven't followed it, go look for Audio Mint right now, because that's where you can find so many other great shows that we are friends with on this network.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break and then film our wrap-up thoughts.
Hell yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
You were just listening to an Audiomint podcast.